Right. We can't stop. We won't stop. Welcome to the Novice Sports Show, a show where, again, three guys came together organically to talk about sports from a novice point of view. Like I said, we want to thank you guys for watching. Like I said, 13 views has been consistent. So again, we want to thank all you guys that watch our show. Again, we want you to help us grow it organically. And again, when we hit it big, like we always say, we gonna look out for the little people. But again, leave some comments because another catchphrase is sometimes we read them, sometimes we don't. But we are highly likely not to read them, just so you know. All right, with that, we're gonna get into our introductions. We got my man
AJ.
we got
Jay.
we got A-Dub. So of course, last night we all watched a bunch of college football. And, the biggest thing on the market right now, hot off the presses, is the first annual college football playoffs, top 12 teams in the country driven by money and eyeballs. So those teams will get ready to play. So it's going to be fun. You got some big names. You got some people who ain't never been in a playoff situation before. Teams like Indiana, teams like Arizona. Some of the small teams. You got the big dogs, the blue bloods in there. So like I said, me personally, I'm glad Alabama didn't make it because my team got snubbed last year. Yes, and I'm gonna say it with much hate. I'm glad you didn't make it because you didn't deserve to be there last year or this year. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and jump into that.
What we got for the first round?
So for the first round, we got Penn State and SMU. I watched Penn State last night. I was rather impressed, like I said, because I thought it was going to be a blowout. After Oregon drove down the field and they scored those two touchdowns right away, they showed me some fight. I give them that. Their quarterback, he's a bruising type of guy, number 15. He did get some pretty good scrambles, but like I said, I think they rely mostly on their run game for the most part because they're really not a heavy passing team. So them going against SMU, who is basically I would say a similar version of Oregon because they're high octane. I don't know. I think it'll be close, but I think SMU might just pull that out. What y'all got?
So you said who you think's gonna
I
win?
think SMU's gonna win because
Okay.
of the high octane offense. They can't keep up.
I don't know if physically SMU like I haven't watched SMU very much, and I definitely didn't watch them before this year when they came to the
That's because they were banned.
no, they were good.
I'm just being
Oh, I
silly.
got you.
Pony Express.
Yeah, but they were really good last year in whatever conference they were in. They
Yeah.
won it.
Mhm.
They came in and just dominated the ACC.
Yeah.
Clemson messed up Alabama's time party last night because nobody thought Clemson was going to beat SMU, and I guarantee the playoff committee was rooting hard for SMU
Yeah.
because then they knew they could get Alabama in, and the only people they'd be making mad would be Miami.
Yeah.
Because they did the last two out or
Yeah.
first two out.
Yeah.
Miami or Alabama number one, Miami number two.
Yeah.
And so, I like SMU from what I've watched because they have a really athletic quarterback and they like you said, it's high octane. They score a lot of points.
Yeah.
But, that Big Ten, Penn State, they really don't lose to anybody but Ohio State and Michigan, like the big teams, right? Like this year they lost to, Oregon. So I'm gonna go Penn State, even though I'm rooting
For
SMU.
the little guy, for the new guy.
I'm rooting for SMU.
I'm going full Penn State.
Full Penn State.
Yeah, after what they showed me last night, for sure. Even if they are down at halftime versus SMU, I'm pretty sure they still got enough fight to even make it a close game.
Yeah.
So I felt like Penn State should have beat Oregon last night.
What?
Personally, they had it. They had it. They were within.
They were within 14 points at any given point in time.
They were within that. Just that moment, just
they didn't have
turn left.
They didn't have enough firepower.
It would have been interesting if it had been Ohio State versus Oregon. Because I think Ohio State, I mean, number one, they got $20 million payroll. They got
money.
crazy talent everywhere. They just can't beat Michigan.
And
so the only two games they lost, first game of the year, they lost to Oregon.
Yeah.
Who ran the table the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And then they lost to Michigan, who's their rival, who's their, just,
wrong.
And honestly, I feel like Penn State's coach is going to outcoach SMU's.
Well, that might be where it has to come down to. Like I said, but when I watched the game last night, right, what I saw was a they thought Oregon was gonna come in and not punish them. And when Oregon was like, oh, this ain't the Oregon with Mariota. This
Yeah,
ain't that Oregon. They were literally running between the tackles, smashing them.
they were.
And then when they put them in the box, them dudes on the edge, they were just too fast.
Yeah.
I mean, dude was running down the middle of the field like this.
Yeah, those
Where-
skill players.
Skill players were killing him. So see, that's the difference in that game. That's why I say it wasn't close, because when they had to throw the ball,
You're right. When they had to
when
rely
when
on
they
their
had-
skill
when
players.
they had to rely on the
did.
skill players, the
Yeah.
only time they made a play is when the coverage was busted.
Yeah.
And they only threw to one person, 44, the tight end, the big tight end. He was 6'9", so they just threw the ball up high.
Yeah.
That's all they were doing. So I'm like,
And we know he's not really 6'9".
well, yeah, I'm just saying he's not 6'9", but
Yeah.
that's a big boy.
That's
That
a
boy
big
was
dude.
big. That's a big dude. That's a big.
And he
boy.
looked good last night. He looked good last
He
night.
did. He looked great. I mean, I wish I had a place to bet on him.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I would have made some money. But yeah, so so I think again, that's why I'm saying, if they get into a literally scoring back and forth, that's why I'm going with SMU, because SMU has the firepower to do it. Now, if it's a under 20 game, it's going to go to Penn State, because they're just going to run out the clock and run them to death.
Okay. What's your prediction on the score?
Well, like I said, if SMU has their way, it's going to be 31. I'm saying 31-24.
Okay, I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, I mean, that's still not bad. I mean, they both still have high scoring. I mean, like I said, I wouldn't say high scoring, like I said, because when you look at Penn State, they had like 2 passing touchdowns. The rest of them came on the ground, I think. Oregon on the other hand, they were lighting it up everywhere. So, like I said, when I watch SMU play, like I said, and they had a quarterback controversy early, but once they settled down on who their quarterback was going to be, it was pretty much over. Like I said, because they slang that rock. And when they played last night, they were down 21.
Yeah, they had a
Yeah.
big comeback.
And they had a big comeback, and it
Yeah.
literally came down to the last possession.
Yeah.
So that's
The
why I
last
said-
play where the kid from Clemson kicks a 56-yarder,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
where did that come from?
So that's why I say I'm gonna go with SMU.
Okay.
That's just me. Like I said, but again, this is the first year of playoffs, and you have to think, some of these teams we wouldn't even be talking about, right?
Had it
not be for the
Play,
playoffs,
yeah.
because they might have been ranked 11th or 5th.
Right, exactly.
Who cares? Because everybody was 1 versus 2, or actually the top 4 teams.
Right,
excuse me.
exactly.
And one of them don't make no sense, even though I like the player. Boise State's number 4.
So speaking of that, so the winner of SMU Penn State
Mhm.
gets Boise.
Yep. Ooh.
Now,
Did Penn State win?
again, Boise has the one marquee guy.
Yeah.
I have not watched Boise State play all year.
Yeah.
I've just been watching
I think he wins
his
that.
highlights.
I don't think they win that game.
I don't either. I mean,
think they win that
and to
game.
me, and we can talk about this later, but
Yeah.
to me, that's the thing I think they need to tweak.
Yeah.
Now they're talking about they're going to go to 32 teams and all this stuff down the road. But
December.
I think they need to tweak how they seed the teams, right?
Yeah.
So if you get, you win your conference,
Mhm.
you should be automatically in. I don't think you should automatically
A
get
bid.
a bye,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So because then you could say, okay, Boise, you won your conference, you're automatically in, but where do we think you stack up
Against
to the other
against
teams?
competition you
Because
played.
yeah, Boise, you won your conference, but maybe I don't think you're as good as
Not tough for your schedule. Right.
Ohio
Tennessee.
or Ohio.
So maybe I want Tennessee to be, so I think that's the thing they need to tweak.
Yeah.
I'm good with the 12 teams. I'm good with who you want to give automatic bids to.
Yeah.
I just don't think they should get that much of
A higher ranking.
based on just winning their conference.
So my question is, how much is it Genty? I don't know how to
Yeah.
pronounce
He's
it.
the entire offense.
Right. How much of him that impacted their decision, do you think? Because let's just say that he is not on the team, but they are still
No.
Well, no,
it's good.
because here's the thing: they only lost like one game all year, right?
They only
I
lost
mean,
the game.
they were dominant in their conference.
Yeah.
You just have to look at
That's
their
what I'm saying.
conference.
Barely without.
I mean,
So do
they
you still
were-
make that same decision if he's not on the team?
because
No, if he's not on the team, they're not
They're not
anywhere near this.
Right.
they're like the 12th team maybe. If
Yeah.
they won their conference.
He's such a weapon
Yeah.
that's what put them. I'm not taking away from the rest of the team. The
Right,
rest of the team has to be good. You got to be defense. He's not like he's
Playing every position.
doing
right.
everything right, but he was the most dangerous weapon arguably in the
Okay.
nation this year.
Like I said,
Yeah.
when you say his least amount of rushing yards was roughly 150, that says a
A
lot.
lot, yeah.
And that's, mind you, that's
Especially when
what-
they're still stacking the box.
yeah, like I said, especially when they got 10 people in the box. They ain't even throwing the ball. We
Yeah.
giving the ball to this guy.
We
Y'all
know you,
stop it.
we're going this way.
We're gonna go left. We are going left. It's your job, and he breaks off an 80-yard run. So,
But I think we've all got SMU or Penn State beating Boise, or do you
yeah,
know?
yeah, I
Okay.
think I got, yeah, I don't see them.
Who's
losing.
next? Who's after
Then, of
that?
course, now here's it, and nobody ever thought Indiana.
Yeah,
would
they came
be-
out, they had a great
came out of
year.
nowhere. That coach just signed another contract.
Well,
They
he
just
beat the
extended-
guy that came from JMU,
Yeah.
and killed it, when they
JMU.
moved from the one division to
FCS,
D1.
Yep.
And then took the money when he had a chance,
Right.
not mad at him. And, not
Yeah,
shocked.
Who knew we'd be here?
But of course, so again, you have another high-powered offense. Because I watched Indiana play Nebraska. That was a good game. That was a shootout, right? But of course, you're talking about two teams that pass the ball a lot.
Right.
Notre Dame
Notre
is
Dame.
going to pound the rock. So I don't know. I think it's going to be fun. But Notre Dame has found their stride, and they had that quarterback from BC, I think, number 13, who likes to run around a lot. He likes to run. He doesn't throw much. But they got Jeremiah Love, I think is the running back name. So they got two pretty good running backs, and they got a tight end that they like to throw to.
Okay.
And their receivers are starting to mature. So they're hitting their stride right at the
Right time.
Because when I watched them play Texas A&M, they did not look good, but they squeaked out the win. But Texas A&M is no chump
They are.
either.
They are.
So,
Who's that? Who you talking about?
Notre Dame.
They played A&M?
Yes. Yeah, they played them like the first 2 weeks. It was like this in
Okay.
September, and they both looked. And it was a close game until like the last 7 minutes. Well, Notre Dame pulled away by like 10.
So we know who he's supporting.
Well, I think Notre Dame's going to beat them. I mean, I think of that game as not I think of it as David versus Goliath, except Goliath is going to win this time.
Okay.
I got
So when you look at and again, everybody plays D1 ball, right? So the difference is what's in the trenches, not on the skill levels. So I think what's in the trenches for Notre Dame is better than they have for Indiana.
For Indiana.
So
I can
I'm
agree
just
with
saying.
that. I can agree with that.
So I think Notre Dame's going to come out on that, and I think it's time for that black coach to step into the spotlight. 'Cause
Yeah, I
last
like
year,
him a lot.
Who
I
do
like-
they play if they win?
They got Georgia.
Woo!
Exactly.
Ooh.
Exactly.
Ooh, yeah, I think Georgia comes out on that one.
But hold on, wait. Is their quarterback going to be?
Well,
ready?
that's the thing,
Nah, well.
he hurt his arm. I haven't heard anything,
Yeah.
what it actually did. If the backup is playing,
Might be
it might
looking
be a little
okay.
Well, it might be,
Um,
but like I said, you got to remember though.
But he looked good yesterday too. He didn't look
yeah,
bad.
he looked all right.
He didn't look terrible. I'm gonna say he didn't look terrible.
No, he didn't look terrible. He made that one decision throwing the ball away and he threw the pick.
Yeah, which he shouldn't have done.
Well, he should have just threw it out of bounds. But like I said, he's a straight up freshman.
Other than that, he looked decent.
And the fact that I don't think, what's that boy's name? I won't say yours.
You know, I bet.
Beck. I call him interception Beck, but anyway.
Well, look, coming into the season, they had him ranked as the number one
Quarterback.
pro prospect at the quarterback position.
I don't know.
Now he's had a
Horrible.
really rough year.
Throwing picks.
But at the beginning of the year, they had him as the number one guy.
See, in his defense, like I said, we talked earlier,
Yep.
that defense has bailed him out a lot.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that
Them
game,
line, that line.
that D line is insane.
Insane.
And see, and I think that's what is going to make it tough with
Notre
whoever
Dame.
plays them
Yeah, like I said, that's
is going to be the rest of the team. I mean, the quarterback, we're like, look, just don't lose it. Don't mess this up
throw the ball to ATM.
because,
We're doing short check now. Short check now.
don't mess this
5
up.
yards.
An out, 5 and out.
Five.
Yeah.
We need 5 yards, but we just moved out of the field gradually. Let the defense rest.
Okay, so we got Notre Dame beat Indiana, and then
Yeah.
we got
Texas.
Georgia stumping Notre Dame.
Probably.
Okay.
Whoever come out there get the stomped.
Yeah, I don't know if I like Indiana.
Indiana
If
comes out.
Indiana somehow beats Notre Dame, I don't like that matchup with Indiana and Georgia.
Like said,
I
this is gonna
think
be-
Yeah, I don't know. I
Somebody,
think Georgia
quarterback
got,
need to go ahead and get hurt.
Georgia got
Like,
too many
I ain't-
NFL players.
the interior, man. I watched them throw that boy. He was like,
Yeah.
then boy, and I think that's what scared viewers. He was like,
Yeah.
he couldn't run. He just froze. Got set. And I was like,
Yeah.
dude, the dude is opening the end zone. Just throw the ball.
Well, speaking of yours, so only team that Texas lost to was Georgia twice, right?
Yep.
We got burnt orange versus bright orange.
And then they got Clemson, the miracle boy, We talked about Clemson earlier in the year because Dabo was like, nah, NIL,
Yeah.
transfer portal, nah, I'm not doing that.
Yep.
And they took some licks this year, but then at the end, when they needed it,
they came up with it. Yeah, so
they got
we're
the
gonna
W.
see. Well, I'll say this: Clemson, their quarterback likes to run, so I think Texas has the defense to deal with that. I think. But my question with Texas is, which yours are you gonna get in this Texas
That's a
Clemson
big
game?
point right there.
I got Clemson.
No, yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, but if yours plays like he played last night,
I got Clemson.
check the box to Clemson.
I don't think Ewers has that, and not saying that he doesn't, but I don't think he has that factor of I just threw an interception, I can move on.
Yeah.
Or I just made a bad play, let's move on.
Yeah, because
Okay.
he seemed
It's always like stuck in his
he
head.
seemed rattled last night.
Yeah, it's like one bad thing, and it's like he's overthinking everything.
But you gotta think, I mean, that's the only team that you lost to, Georgia.
That is-
And them jokers is, I mean,
The boy
that's a bunch of
traumatized.
NFL dudes, right?
Traumatized.
Like, he talking about looking over your shoulder, like,
He was looking over his shoulder a lot because he wasn't throwing the ball at all. I was just like, throw the ball.
so here's a question.
And I don't think Texas. I'm sorry.
No, you good.
I don't think Texas is actually that. And last night proved me right. They're not that good in the red zone.
Well, no, they weren't. I mean, it was horrible. It was horrible. I mean,
I don't know if they're going to be able to
They-
take advantage of the opportunities that they have against Clemson.
Okay.
Yeah, because they were in the red zone 3 times.
3 times.
3 times. Missed field goal, missed field goal, missed field goal. Penalties that were back.
But how much of that is because they were playing Georgia?
No, these were penalties where they false start.
No, I'm talking about not scoring.
No,
in
no,
the
I'm
red
saying, no,
zone.
no,
Oh,
no,
okay.
no. What I'm saying is them 9 points would have basically put the game out of reach, is what I'm saying. Right? False starts, illegal formations,
Yeah.
false starts. And I'm like, ain't nobody making no noise. What are you doing?
And I feel like
And
Ewers, he
I don't know what he was doing last night.
he didn't mix it up at the last minute.
Well, he can't, he has to run with the play.
And I get that.
But I think he wasn't as, I'll say this.
The receivers didn't look on the same page.
No, he wasn't as decisive as he normally is when he throws the ball.
Yes.
Because we talked about the play earlier. They ran the fake screen this way. They had the back flare out this way.
Didn't throw.
And the receiver went this way. Dude is wide open and he did not throw the ball. He did this and he stopped. And he just
He got a
balled up.
sack, yeah.
I mean, literally, when I say he balled up, he just balled up and waited for them to sack him.
And
All he was just floated over the dude's head.
And I don't even know if it was the play before that one
Yeah.
or after.
Because he was
When
just
he
taking,
threw the backside shoulder in the
Yeah.
end zone. And the receiver didn't even I don't think they were on the same page.
Okay.
Because the receiver went inside, but
Oh,
didn't
you
go
talking about the fade?
Yes.
You talking about the slot fade?
Yes.
Where he threw the ball to the far, basically, he should have thrown it to I'd say about the middle of the first pylon.
Yes.
But he threw it toward there, so the slot fade, he had the roll, and the dude was like, where's the ball?
Ball.
And he finally saw it. The ball was here, he was here. So he's throwing, I mean, he threw it.
Like you said, he was rattled.
I was like,
But think about this, as bad as he played,
They were
as bad as they played,
they're right there.
they still could have won that game.
Oh, I
So think
agree.
about that.
I mean, they could have, but see, I think that was more or less, I think that had a lot to do with Beck.
Yeah.
I really did. And the fact that their defense stayed on the field too long for Texas.
Okay.
Because in the first half, Texas was maintaining drives down the field,
Mhm.
right? They were getting and kicking a field goal. Now, my defense is resting. They came out the second half. Dude was hurt. They started running the ball to A-10 and they started having them drives.
Mhm.
Now your defense, because that one dude was getting, that one D tackle was stuck in air. He was sucking air. He was like, because when they did, because they were doing massive substitutions, they would, the whole front four would run off and another new front four running. That tells me them dudes is gassed.
Yeah.
So that's when you start hitting them. You start running up the middle. You start, because they tired. And like I said, because what happened when Georgia scored their first 6, that made it 10-6. They went on the field and went 4 and out. So that defense is back on the field. And they drove the field. They got a 4 and out finally, and they got on the field and they drove down and they kicked the field goal. I was like, man, y'all killing me.
But that just shows how good Georgia is.
That is.
Yeah, I know.
Because Texas, think about it, in the first half,
Mhm.
Georgia had their quarterback.
Yeah.
Now, again, we just talked about Beck hadn't had a great year,
Yeah.
but he was in there.
Yeah.
And then they were losing. And I think Texas was running up and down the field on them. They just couldn't punch it in, right?
Yeah.
Second half, I don't know if Georgia just got fired up because
They did. They can't-
their guy was out.
They stumped it.
Yeah.
They took some energy drinks, something.
Yeah.
They must have spiked the wrong water.
Who else we got?
Okay, wait. So the winner of that
Texas.
gets who everybody wants,
Was that
and that's Arizona State.
that, and I haven't watched Arizona State play. All I know about Arizona State is they fired Sherm.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's been a minute.
So that's been a minute. That's all I know.
I don't think if Clemson wins and beats Texas, it's kind of cliche to say. I don't see Clemson beat Arizona State.
See, I don't know,
Well,
man.
see, I don't know. I got to go back and watch Arizona State, but I don't, because I mean,
If Clemson wins, though.
no, I'm just saying, when I watch Arizona, because I was kind of, you're half watching something
Yeah.
and you're going, is that really the score? Because I was like, Iowa State can put up numbers. I said, but they only got 10 points. And the score is 35. Literally, this is like the third quarter. It's 35-10. And I'm like, yeah, you must just take your quarterback out. Because they literally, as soon as I went to the kitchen and came back, they had scored another touchdown. So now it's 42-10.
Yeah.
Well, I think that running back had like 3 touchdowns. I don't
Yeah.
know how many yards he ended up
He
running
was,
for.
he was
He was Heisman posing.
2+2.
Every time he scored, he was doing the Heisman pose.
He was-
After the game, he was like, "Yeah, I think I'm the best running back in the country." Blah blah
You
blah.
can tell he
I'm like, okay.
practiced that one. He
I'm like,
practiced that.
okay.
He been waiting for
Hey,
that.
look,
I'm not mad at him.
I'm glad you said that, but you're not.
I'm not mad at him, man.
Genty is the best running back in the country. Let's not get it twisted.
We'll get there later. We're definitely gonna get there later.
That's Heisman talk.
I'm not
So-
mad at my man. And then the last one is
Ohio State
in
and
Tennessee.
Tennessee. Now, I think Ohio State's gonna win this one because Tennessee doesn't run that bruising style of football for me. Tennessee's another high octane, throw the ball around to their receivers because they got a heck of a receiving core and they got that quarterback. I forgot his name.
Do they get any SEC points?
Tennessee?
Yeah, the fact that they went through the SEC. Do you give them any points for that to
Well, see,
maybe be able to take out Ohio State?
Well, like I said, like you said earlier, Ohio State's got probably one of the most talented rosters head to toe in the country. Their only Achilles heel seems to be Michigan and the style of play Michigan runs. When Michigan plays them, Michigan goes, we gonna make you grind it out. Tennessee, unless they take that approach,
Yeah, I don't
which
think
is
they-
not their,
I don't think they will.
which is not what they are. They gonna sling that rock. Tennessee's got probably, not Tennessee, Ohio's probably got one of the best secondaries in the country. So do you really want to sling that rock? Or do you want to do what Michigan do and make them make a mistake? Now, if they do that, Tennessee will win the game.
But Tennessee would have to literally
Run the rock.
make sure every opportunity, if they even close within the red zone, you gotta score.
You gotta score. Like I said, because and you have to put the pressure on
them.
Ohio
Yeah.
to say, okay, I scored a touchdown now, you
Can't
gotta
use
score a
it, yeah.
touchdown. You can't be kicking no field goals unless you running that rock.
Yeah.
I was listening to a guy talking about the games at Ohio State.
Yeah.
But how quick the Ohio State fans will turn on them if they're not scoring or if they're doing a 3 and out.
Yeah.
And they said, we don't, and booing the coach, booing Day.
Yeah.
And they're like, don't be surprised if Tennessee gets in there and either takes the lead early, that the fans don't turn on
No,
Ohio
yeah.
State and just mess them up in the head. I'm like, wow,
But hey, look,
wow.
it happened. Look, it happens.
That's the standard.
Well, I mean, like I said, you gotta remember, going 11-1 ain't fun, especially when you lose to the same people for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Because when I watched that mission, I didn't watch it. I was kind of watching it. You got the 4 windows, and I kept going, they're gonna lose this game.
When it was close, I thought Ohio State was gonna blow them out. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, like I said,
When it was close, I was like,
they're
uh-oh.
gonna lose this game. Because when it was 10-10 at halftime, I said, yeah, they're gonna lose this game. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, bro, they're gonna lose this game.
Who do they play? Whoever wins, who they play?
Oregon. So you get the rematch, Oregon, Ohio State from game 1,
Or you get Tennessee and
or you get Tennessee and
Tennessee
Oregon.
plays Oregon. That's gonna be a good game, but I think Oregon takes it because Oregon right now, to me, I watch
I don't
Oregon
think
play.
Tennessee has the defense.
No, I'm just saying, like I said, I think if Tennessee wins, Oregon's gonna beat Tennessee,
Yes.
in my opinion, because when I
Okay.
watched Oregon twice this year. I watched them play Michigan and I watched them play last night. And I'll say this, it's very hard, when their run game is on, it's very hard to defend them, and all year their run game has been on. Because they've switched their persona from high octane past to like, oh, if you want to play, this is the Big Ten, smash mouth football is what you want to play, that's what we gonna play. And they were smash mouth football.
And then Dylan, he doesn't really get rattled. Or at least he doesn't
He's,
show.
he's a great college
He
quarterback.
doesn't show it.
Like
Dude,
he's a great college
he-
quarterback.
I watched him last night.
He may have more composure than
He
short.
when he was running around, he spun out, ran, and he was running, and he was like, and he threw it to the dude, he caught it and he scored. I was like, okay, and then when he threw the ball, he was throwing those laterals, I thought they were fumbles personally, but so when he I mean, because he was just
Yeah, he'll zip it. Yeah.
just like,
He didn't give you no time.
nothing. I was like, bro, good God.
And they would start off the play like that.
Like, but
See what they can get.
yeah, see if they get, but see, this in the Oregon, they run tempo sometimes. And their problem is, like you said, the problem with them, if they get up, they don't know how to slow down.
Mm.
Because he said, look, I mean, because last night, that's why you say they were getting close. They really weren't getting close. Oregon was like, okay, we got 7 minutes left in the game. We up 18. We need to run the clock.
Nah, let's
And
just
they're, and they're like, and everybody's going, run what? Run the clock? Nah, bro, we got tempo. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. So, like I said, but again, Ohio State would give them a better run for their money
Yeah.
because they played them before, per se. But Tennessee is no slouch. I mean, I think, like I said, didn't Tennessee lose in South Carolina? I think they did.
I'm not
Was that
sure.
this year?
I think,
I'm not
yeah, I
sure.
think they lost to South Carolina.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
They had 2 losses, right? Or 3.
No, they didn't have 3.
So they had 2 losses
Yeah.
because they have 3 to be out. They lost to Kentucky.
Did they?
Did they lose to Kentucky?
In the rivalry game? I thought, yeah, see, I don't remember.
I don't know.
Don't make me
They
lie.
lost somebody. They lost to either South Carolina, and I could be wrong. But I thought South Carolina.
Arkansas,
They lost to Arkansas and who?
Georgia.
Okay. So they beat South Carolina. So yeah, or Georgia. Because they lost to Georgia because they played them in Tennessee
Okay.
and they lost and they came out. It wasn't a
Yeah.
bad blowout. though.
Tennessee didn't play second.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad blowout though. I'm trying to look at the scores. Look at the scores. See, Alabama, they played Alabama close. They played Kentucky close until the end. Georgia, 17. And then who else? You said Arkansas?
Yeah, they lost to Arkansas 19-14.
Yeah, see, and they played them tight because they probably ran the ball. Arkansas had that running back,
Yep.
run the ball a lot. See, that's what you do against teams that are high octane. You just keep them off the field. But you got to be able to run the ball.
Just about to say that.
If you can't run the ball, see, because if I was playing Oregon last night, I would have, number one, I would have not deferred. I would have not given them the ball first. I'd have given them the ball second half, and I would have basically been like, you're gonna snap the ball at 5 seconds, and we're gonna run it. Because I'm gonna keep them off the field. And what he do? No, we're gonna kick it to him. They drove the field, scored. Drove the field, scored.
Twice.
I mean, I guess he wanted his defense to be like,
Go ahead. Y'all get
let's
ready.
keep-
Y'all go ahead and start waking up.
yeah.
Yeah, let's wake up, give up 14 points.
Well, look, I can't guarantee who's going to win these games.
Yeah.
But I know who's going to win the uniform game.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And that's Oregon.
Oregon's gonna win that.
I love to see what they come out with every
Oh, yeah. man.
every game.
That uniform last night that was hot.
Out of the playoffs,
Yeah.
what player are you most excited to just watch?
I think I really want to see Genty against other competition.
Okay.
That's what I really want to see, because if he gets even in a losing effort, if he gets 200 yards, then you can give him that valid stamp. This is a vulnerable. I mean, but the only drawback I see is the amount of carries he's getting now versus when he starts
Get
the
the
next
lead.
stage of his career, because all that wear and tear. That's my only thing.
College, man, these jokers run the ball.
No, I'm just saying though, but the amount of carries he's got.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, in college, when you're a stud running back,
Yeah.
you're going to get carries.
Yeah.
But he didn't have the carries. I bet he would, because he probably has a lot of long touchdowns,
Yeah,
right?
he
Yeah, he
does.
does.
So it's like, if he was a grinded out type of back, he probably have way more carries,
Yeah.
taking way more punishment. I see
That's
some
why-
big holes for this joker, and he
Yeah.
hits them and is gone. I'm kind of interested to see that running back from Arizona State. Just because after what I saw,
He talking crazy.
after what I saw last night from him, and then him talking junk and hitting the pose, I kind of want to see what he's gonna
Hey,
do.
look up. Don't put a mark on your back.
Yeah.
Or put that X on your
I
chest.
kind of want to see it. I kind of want to see it. I'm gonna when I leave, I'm gonna go look up some of his stuff.
his
'Cause
stuff?
I like that dude.
I don't want to say this,
Who?
but I'm gonna say who I'm really focused on looking at is Dylan,
Okay,
the quarterback.
What, Gabriel Dillon?
Yeah.
Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, Dylan Gabriel. Yeah. I mean, like I said,
'Cause
well,
I want to see how. I told you I don't think he's that good.
yeah, well, he's in the right system.
I think he's great in college.
He's in the
I
right
don't think he's
system.
gonna be a good pro.
Yeah, he's
And
because he doesn't look tall to me.
Yeah, I don't think he's not a big
He's
guy.
like maybe 6 foot, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, but he's stouter.
Yeah, he ain't
He
skinny.
ain't skinny. He's stouter. Then
But I need to see something.
yeah, well, he showed to me.
I want to see how, other than controlling the tempo of the game, I want to see if you can actually win a game.
That dude wins games, man. That
I
dude's
mean,
putting up
well,
crazy numbers.
It's easy when you can just throw it to your skill players.
Well, that's what you're supposed to do.
It's easy.
That's
So
what they
I
all
want to see.
do.
I want to see something other than that.
Like what? Hand it off the rock? What is he going to do?
Look, they're undefeated. What else you want?
Yeah, that is true. I need to see something else.
Okay.
I need to see something else.
Bro, I don't know what you need to see because he showed me enough. He showed me enough last night. I mean, like I say, because you think about it, the way he was making decisions.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, it was like he ain't no.
I need him to exceed the expectations that I have.
Okay.
Well, look,
I'm gonna say that.
Look,
I'm gonna say
this the
that.
guy who hate the quarter. Was it? He said, "Look, he smiled too much."
Oh, they flowers.
Yeah.
Smiled too
Yeah.
much. He must have watched the cast because he stopped smiling.
That's funny.
He's like, he smiled too much for me, man. He
Yeah.
gets serious out there.
Who's winning the Heisman?
Yeah, well,
Travis Hunter.
well, he says Travis. I'm a Genty guy, so I'm hoping Genty wins it.
Boy, we didn't say who you want to win it.
Yeah.
We said who do you think is gonna win it.
Oh man,
I think Travis wins it in a blowout.
Well, I don't know. I
They,
mean, it ain't but two people. Because think about it. Who are the candidates?
well, they'll announce tomorrow the finalists, but it's Hunter,
Genty.
Genty. I think Dylan Gabriel because he's the undefeated quarterback
Yeah.
and then
There's three. Then nobody
I
else.
don't.
will be-
I think Cam Ward. He'll be the
Oh,
fourth.
Cam Ward's not gonna.
I don't think Shador gets in. I think they'll put Cam Ward in. over
Fedor just won
Shador.
his award though, so he's good.
Well, what award did he get?
What best quarterback in the nation?
They've already started giving out
Yeah,
awards.
it should be December. Yeah, they normally start giving them out.
Yeah, it's the first week of December.
No, then he should be not getting it.
That
Oh,
season
they-
just ended.
Yeah,
Oh,
season. So yeah. after
Now
the
they may have
Heisman.
done. They may have done like Player of the Year.
He
Offensive
won
Player of
the
the Year.
Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award.
Well, that's not the quarterback of the year.
No. I was just saying he won an award.
What is that? I don't even know what that is. I mean, I
It's the
know,
Golden Arm Award.
but I mean, like, is that for the quarterback that throws
quarterback
for
in
the
the
most
nation.
yardage, or is that a?
Quarterback in the nation?
Yeah, it's this two right here.
There you go. I'll let you read that. Oh, those are that's name the Buffalo. Yeah, Giant. Yeah, blow bust out. And
I didn't know they'd already started doing that because the season
Yeah.
wasn't over yet.
Yeah.
I mean, the regular
Regular
season
season, yeah, you're right.
really wasn't even over.
Yeah.
He won
But
that.
maybe that is just a strictly regular season.
Yeah.
But I think Shador is going to be the best pro of all of the quarterbacks coming out this year.
But it's basically the award is given to the nation's top upperclassmen quarterback. It's not simply based on statistics, but also includes a player's accomplishments on and off the field and character and leadership ability.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's not the best.
Yeah.
And the past winners include Jaden Daniels, Joe Burrow, Mac Jones.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to get, I mean, if you got to, but yeah, that's cool. I mean, again, I think Shador should be the top quarterback coming out.
He should be the first quarterback coming out the board.
That's what I think. But, you like Cam Ward,
Yeah,
right?
it's the Davey O'Brien Award. So whoever gets the Davey O'Brien Award is the best quarterback in the country, according to.
Which should still be Shador.
Well, it depends. Like I said, because normally it goes to the guy who's undefeated. Just so you're saying, I'm just saying.
That one does?
Yeah, normally.
Okay, gotcha.
Normally it goes to the last undefeated quarterback. I mean, because well, I don't say that. No, who won it last year? Jaden Daniels. No, who won it last year?
Probably Jay Daniels. He won the Heisman.
No,
he
because
won-
remember what's his name came out last year too. Now remember
Caleb. Yeah, but
Caleb.
Caleb won the year before because
Yeah.
he got the Heisman and all that stuff.
Yeah.
He could have won it, but Jaden got I think he got all the hardware last year.
Yeah. So I'm like, so yeah. So, I mean, I'll say this. I mean, so we got to look up.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, he won it. So you're looking at that. So, I mean, like I said, Travis probably will win it. But again, I would prefer Genty to win it.
He has so Travis has the hike machine.
Yeah, he does.
He got Coach Prime. Basically, I mean, they got the two of the top, I'd say 5 players in college football on the same team. I think the momentum has been there, and the numbers. I was looking at it earlier. What was that?
I said Heisman finalist.
No.
That's all I was saying.
Yeah, they won't put it out till tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I think the top 4 is going to be what we said, with either Cam Moore or Shador.
It's going to be the top 4. So our top 4 from our consensus, we said Genty, Cam Ward,
Brooks.
and not Brooks.
I mean,
Galen
Gabriel.
Are the
I don't know why I keep
Gabriel.
saying Brooks.
Yeah.
So those.
But I think if
because Dylan Brooks played basketball for Oregon. That's why I keep saying.
oh, I got you. Yeah, I think Shador would be the 5th one if they took 5.
Yeah, I'm about to say he should be in there.
But I think it's him and Ward. Like if Shador ends up getting an invitation
1A1
over Cam Ward,
1A1B.
I won't be shocked. But I think I think Cam Ward will get it.
Yeah, don't put Cam Ward in.
How much does, if Travis wins the Heisman, how much does that help him?
I think it helps his
draft ability,
no,
draft
because
stock,
they already got
I'll say, 'cause
they already got all the mock drafts still have him going number 1.
Yeah.
The question is whether they have him going as a receiver
If
or
you're
as a
saying he
corner.
wants to play both.
Listen, there'll be packages for him to play
Yeah.
both.
That's why I said, how much does the Heisman help?
It doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't.
Okay.
I mean,
There we go.
it helps his endorsements.
That's about
He'll
it.
get Dr. Pepper commercials for the rest of his life
Yeah.
in the Heisman house.
Yeah.
It helps him with that. He gets a free trip to New York every year after
yeah,
that.
and he gets to vote. He gets to vote on who the Heisman is.
But like all the mock drafts I've seen have him going number 1.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
As
again,
a corner?
well,
Or are you saying it changes depending on what?
no, they just have him.
Or just going as a
And they
corner
say,
athlete? Okay.
because I've seen people say, like me personally, I think he'll make more of an impact on offense just because you can get him the ball. Like
Right.
I think his skills as a receiver and just hand-eye court. I mean, I just think they're top notch.
So right now, the worst team in the NFL right now, they said supposedly is the Arizona this year. I need to put 2025.
Jaguars,
Yes, the Jaguars, and they need a receiver.
they need a lot.
So
But I think here's what I think is going to happen. I think he starts at corner, and they put packages in for him as slot or as receiver.
Okay.
That's just personally what I think.
Okay, so here we go.
Yeah, I saw him going to New England.
Yeah,
Yes.
so the Patriots have the first pick.
Okay,
All right.
they're not going to have the first pick though.
I mean, right now.
Right now.
Okay,
They're probably gonna be New York with the first pick anyway, or Dallas, I hope. Anyway, so like I said, Patriots have the first pick. What do the Patriots need? Do you think they could use a Travis Hunter?
I think they could use a Travis Hunter.
As
They
a
also,
receiver, they are the
yeah,
really
But
both.
they- like I said, I
but
don't
wide
think he
receiver.
makes. Okay, how big?
Jones
is
needs some
Travis?
weapons.
he's average. I mean, he's 6'2". I mean, he's like
6'2".
average.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's like
not,
going 6'2".
he's not.
6'2", 100, what, 100?
I'd say probably 85, 90 something.
185, so.
100 pounds.
But again, he's the same. But he's the same size as every other receiver
Yeah,
that's
so
coming
he's-
out. But he's not one of those.
His build is weird though. He looks like a piece of paper.
Right.
Does. That's what
He looks like a piece of paper.
Well, look, I saw a couple weeks ago. I went to the Dallas Washington game. Turpin is the smallest dude. I was down on the field. Dude looks like he looks like a 7th grader. His lower body is so small. Like I'm like, yo, but the dude runs like a 4.1. Like he's so fast.
So that's going to be the determining factor.
He look. If Travis Hunter stood beside him, you'd be like, dang, Travis Hunter's jacked. He's huge.
Hold on, what? And I don't know. Maybe you guys know. Did they ever talk about how fast Travis?
No, they haven't. They never.
I mean,
I know if he runs a 4.1, that would definitely help. But
Oh, yeah.
if he runs like a regular
No,
4.6 or something.
he's fast.
He
If he
runs
runs like a
fast.
4.6, he's not.
No, he's fast, and he's one of those dudes that probably won't run. Here's what: when the combine comes, when you're that high, you decide what you want to do, what you don't want to do. But if he knows I'm about to go in here and smoke a 4.1, he'll run the 40. If he's not feeling good, he won't because he doesn't want people to.
Yeah.
Oh well, he's not as fast as we thought he was.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting because if the Patriots get it, you've got to build around Drake May, but you can give him weapons. You can also give him an offensive line. I don't think you take an offensive lineman number 1.
I think I said Jones. I meant May.
No, man.
You could always move down
I'm saying
if there's
Drake-
if there's other people you like.
Yeah.
But every mock draft I've seen has Travis Hunter going number one.
Yeah,
And I just think figuring out what to do with him.
that's the thing, of course, that's the wonderful thing about it, right? It's a mock draft. And I hate to say it that way because again, it's an inexact science, and we always say, all right. We always say it's an inexact science, right?
Yeah,
You
it's
never know. Then, of course, you have those dark horses that pop up, then you have all the hype that they give other players that we've never heard of before.
They ain't popping up number one though.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, but it always.
If a team is drafting number one and they clearly need like let's say Vegas ends up number
They
one.
need a quarterback.
They're taking Cam Ward or Shador, I think, based on whichever one they like better. If a team that already
hold on. Let me play devil's advocate.
okay.
You're saying that's who they would take.
Yeah, well,
Is that where Prime would want Shador to go?
I think he'd love him to go to Vegas.
yeah, because it's a big market.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
And
It's a big market.
his boy is the owner, is part owner.
Yeah, that's what I
Tom
had.
Brady's part- Yeah, I think so. So I think two teams that definitely need a quarterback are the
The
Giants
Giants for sure.
and Vegas. And I think either of those Prime would be fine.
And the Jets.
I ain't gonna lie, the
The
Jets.
Jets ain't taking one now.
I know they're not, but they need one.
And
Uh,
I know they just paid him. Emmy.
No, two. Well, they get the.
They
I know they not. I know they
Yeah.
not because they just paid
They
him.
just-
like let's imagine if Jacksonville gets number one pick. They're not taking a quarterback because they still like
They
Trevor
still
Lawrence
are-
and he's still pretty young.
All them for him.
So I think they would take Travis. Now,
Because they need a receiver.
they need everything too,
Like I
right?
said, but
But
they really need a
Yeah.
receiver because they let the other guy go for 80 million off to Tennessee.
yeah,
Mhm.
So and then of course what is the guy who was gambling? Was that the guy that they
You
gave
talking
him
about
1 year?
Cat-
in the NFL?
No, he was in Atlanta. He gambled.
Are you
he
talking
got
Ridley?
caught- Yeah,
Calvin?
Ridley. So Ridley went to the Jaguars for 1 year after he served his suspension. Then
That
he
is true.
signed.
That is true.
Then he
Okay.
signed with Tennessee because they
Tennessee.
I
didn't
got
want to
you.
pay him the money,
Yeah.
and they wind up having a horrible year because you don't have a number one receiver.
I got you.
You
I
know,
got you.
so I'm like, whatever. But like I said, so sorry, excuse me. I need some water.
But I think Travis gets the Heisman,
Okay.
and I think he probably ends up. It's tough to take a player that you're not quite like.
Sure,
Like
which one
everybody
is
always
better?
reaches on the quarterbacks,
Yeah.
so you're used to people taking quarterbacks number one overall.
But
You're kind of used to them taking like edge rushers number one.
Yeah.
But taking receiver / corner / we're not sure.
see, like,
That's a little tricky.
yes, it's very tricky because it's scary. Because I mean, like I said, do you want to be a receiver? Because you ain't doing both all the time.
Right.
Right.
That's not happening. Because even throughout the season, because we'll kind of start to wrap up, but even throughout the season, the wear and tear on your body in an NFL game is a little more different because
Oh, without a doubt.
if I see him out there and I know he's scared to hit, I'm running right at him. We gonna toss sweep.
And see, I don't think he's scared to hit. I think he's a solid football
I
player.
think he is,
But hitting people is where you get banged. Like that's how he's gotten banged up.
yeah,
Is making tackles.
Yeah.
But you're drafting him as not as a run stopper. You draft him as a shutdown
corner guy.
corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
But whether you take that number one, now you add the other stuff he can do.
Yeah.
But that'll be interesting to see.
yeah,
And it's like, who
Where
is
they-
interested at taking him number one? If
Well,
nobody's
see-
interested in taking him, we could pick him at 5.
well, see, like I said, that's the whole thing. But see, that's all part of the draft play and
Yeah.
playing games and the psyche. When you watch the War Room, they play the games. Oh, do you really want Travis Hunter? We got the number one pick.
Yeah.
Are you willing to give us?
You want to come up
You
to
want to
get
come
him?
up to get him,
Right.
and you want to give us your next year's first and your second round this year.
Yeah.
Is he worth that? Because that's a lot of capital.
Oh.
Well, and here's the other thing. Dion's already said he ain't letting his boys go anywhere.
That's what I'm
So
saying. That's all.
let's say Jacksonville has the number one pick and they say they want, Travis.
Yeah.
But Dion's like, they're a worst run organization in the whole NFL.
Yeah.
I don't want him going there.
Yeah.
That could happen. So,
And let me ask you guys this.
Mhm.
If Shador and Travis goes to 2 different teams,
they will.
They will.
do you expect Travis to put butts in the seat?
Yeah.
Now, you're not drafting him to put butts in
No, I
the
mean,
seats.
no, the quarterback. Okay, so in an NFL franchise, it's very rare that a receiver is the guy you go with.
Right.
Unless it's like a generational people, Randy Moss, Calvin Johnson. Those guys are, they're just phenomenal. Like I say, even not in college, but like I say, when Megatron stepped on the scene,
That
maybe he got his own tribute to
that dude. Oh my
Travis
God.
to me is not that dude at a receiver. He might be a good shutdown corner, in college, but again, I can't gauge how good he is because nobody threw at him.
Right,
I
right.
can tell you what
I
Woodson
mean, they're
looked
using
like.
that as the reason.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I can tell you what Woodson looked like, right? I can tell you what Dion looked like because they threw at him. They didn't really throw at him. I mean, 10, was it 9, I'm sorry, I'm trying to think. 7 games in, he had like 7 targets at him. So they just wasn't throwing the ball at him. So I can't tell you. I mean, that means he's good, but I don't know how good. That makes sense?
Yeah, because I think if Shador goes to Las Vegas,
Yeah.
or New York to the Giants, I think he can put butts in the seats himself.
Well, but this is the thing.
I think you can market him.
This is what you got to think. No, definitely. The marketability, definitely, Shador is going to be, it doesn't matter where he gets drafted. He's got 1,000 commercials already. Like, people are going to, now, some of them, now I'm going to tell you though, I don't know what the percentage is. You're going to have just as many people that pay to see him get knocked out as they do pay to see him win. Because a lot of people don't like him. They think he's conceited. They think he's all about him.
And do you think it's because of him himself, because he doesn't give me that, or because of his dad too?
Both.
Okay.
Well,
I mean, nobody likes.
He's always doing this
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
So Shador does play into it quite a bit.
Yeah, so nobody likes a showboat, right?
But Dion, again, same thing. The people want to see Dion fail.
Yeah.
And
that's part of
it's just like with LeBron.
Yeah.
They want to see Bronny fail because they don't like LeBron. They don't really have that much against Bronny. What's he done? Now Shador, way more stuff against him than Bronny does. But again, he's going to be day one. You draft him, he's the face of your franchise.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. One more question.
All right.
Shador gets drafted.
Yep.
Does he have a better rookie season than any of the quarterbacks from last year?
Depends on the team. Okay.
Does he have a better rookie season than Caleb? Does he have a better rookie season than
Well, he's pretty much.
Jaden
Jaden's doing well.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Jaden's doing really well. So just so
or CJ or
so you got to remember. Okay, so you have to remember. Okay, so it depends on where he goes.
that is true.
All right, so he goes to LA. He gonna struggle. If he goes to New York,
he's gonna struggle for sure.
Because you got one weapon, no run game in all these situations, which means you have what? No O-line, which means you're gonna be running for his life like Bryce.
You don't think whoever gets Shador is gonna do what they did with Caleb? Like try to find pieces and stuff before they even get
No, but
well, you see, they can't because the Bears had the stupid Panthers that gave them all these draft picks.
Yeah.
Like they kind of lucked into that.
Yeah.
Now, again, ideally, you want to surround your guy with guys,
talent,
but it's just rare that you can do that.
Yeah, see, okay, I'll say this. Okay, remember, because you got free agency. Wait a minute, I can't remember. Yeah, the free agency comes after the draft. So they can pick him, but then they're gonna have to address some issues in the free agency.
Right.
They can do that. Because they should have money, because they ain't like they got no franchise players, other than their defensive end Crosby.
Right.
Right? So it just depends on where he goes. I mean, it can't be duplicated, but then like I said, you gotta have the right coach, gotta have the right system, and you gotta have some talent. If you ain't got no talent,
Yes, it's tough.
it's gonna be
and we've already shown that
ask Caleb.
Yeah. Well, you've already seen that Shador takes a whole lot of sacks in these last 2 years.
Mhm.
So if you got an offensive line, like I think accuracy wise, if he has time, to me, I think that's what puts him ahead of everybody else. But if you got to go to a team with a bad offensive line, it's going to be a rough. You're going to look like Bryce with the Panthers last year.
Yes, and you have to remember though, like I said, because, and speaking of what, bad O-line, Dan Marino, right? One of the quickest releases ever. He's got to have those type of releases. I haven't seen him do that.
Yeah,
I don't see, because he sits and he waits and he reads. If you got a bad line, you gotta let it go.
That is true.
You gotta let that thing go.
They hit a little harder in the pros than they do in college.
They coming for you.
But that's what Deion said. He's like, if it's an organization that doesn't have a good track record of developing quarterbacks, I don't want my son going there.
Yeah.
Because his career will be short.
Unless you can get a package deal, get a quarterback and a coach.
Yeah, he ain't even called.
Depends on what the offer is.
Well, I mean, he got
everything. Why not?
Depends on what the offer is.
He got a small contract. I give him that.
Depends on what the
if you can guarantee, hey man, I'll put y'all above 500 in 2 years. Yes, I'm taking you, Prime. Come on.
Well, you can't make that guarantee. But trust me, there's a lot of teams with bad coaches.
It is.
And there's a lot of college teams with bad coaches. There's a lot of pro teams with bad coaches. and you've already shown you can bring in talent, you can,
And rebuild,
you can
rebrand.
rebuild a program. That's gonna be appealing to a lot of people.
College.
I personally want him to stay at Colorado another year just to
Rebuild.
kind of solidify things. But for example, if Florida State came calling, or if, Florida already said they're in.
Texas team.
Auburn.
But if one of these
You have Auburn calls.
SEC,
Texas calls.
warm weather,
Texas
you know.
A&M calls and says, we're gonna pay you $100 million.
yeah, you're
taking that
taking
job.
that call and you're taking that
I'm
job.
taking that job.
But I think he will
calling
stay
him.
at Colorado because they did just get
Doesn't matter, that kid will come with him.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah,
That'd be that Louis V luggage that he always
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah,
For sure.
Yeah.
but it'll be interesting.
Mhm. But with that, like I said, episode, we don't know,
In the
it's
20s.
coming to a close. It's in the 20, actually, no, it's episode 24. It's coming to a close. Like I said, so again, three guys who came together to talk about sports organically from a novice point of view. Like I said, please like, share, subscribe. So again, we're trying to grow the channel. Again, we appreciate all the views that you have. Please leave comments. As we always say, we might read them, then again, we might not. It's highly likely we won't, because we got day jobs. Anyway, with that, like, so we're gonna sign off. We got my man, and
AJ.
we got
Jay,
A-Dub. Y'all enjoy.
peace out.